I am going to start with Ms. Hewitt in Kelowna. I happen to live over the hill in Penticton, so I'm not over the hill myself, I hope, but it's good to have someone from the Okanagan here before us, at least even virtually. And Ms. Hewitt, you made some very compelling statements, I think, about, particularly about the Canada Disability Benefit, where you suggested that 1.5 million should be receiving this benefit, and we only have maybe a third of that qualify. And I've read elsewhere that only a few thousand people will actually be raised out of poverty because of this benefit. And part of that problem, as you said, is the requirement that around the disability tax credit, which is a very difficult credit to apply for. I know probably every MP here, at least certainly all my colleagues in the NDP caucus, have regular workshops to try to explain how to navigate that process of getting the disability tax credit. It's a very convoluted process. And I'm just wondering if you could explain how you see this disability benefit, how people would qualify for that. What would be the simplest and most straightforward way for the government to use to make sure that we're actually raising people out of poverty?
So thank you, and thank you for being here from the Okanagan as well. As David mentioned, I'm sorry, my service dog has decided our time is up, and you may hear a little bit from him in the background. As David mentioned, the cooperation between federal and provincial levels just doesn't exist, but we have excellent systems by and large, in comparison to the federal government, in the provincial systems for getting people to jump through the hoops to be awarded provincial disability assistance payments. We believe, as do many other disability organisations, as do some provincial governments, that once you've jumped through that hoop, that's enough. And you should be automatically eligible for the Canada Disability Benefit. Now, that may mean, because the government is adamant that the only list they have of disabled people is the disability tax credit, that may mean that the route is those people are made automatically eligible for the disability tax credit. It sounds so simple that it just floors me that it can't happen. But again, it comes to this lack of ability for different levels of government to talk to each other, for these responsibilities to stay siloed, and also the lack of imagination and the lack of drive to want to make this happen. Everybody working on this at the CRA, in the government, should be so embarrassed that they're, and working desperately hard to work out how those extra million people get this benefit. And that simply isn't happening. And I spend my days working on this, and as a volunteer for my organisation, and we spend our time trying to come up with every method we can. Can we do roll-in workshops? Somebody suggested can we use the Army Medical Corps to roll through and get people signed up for the disability tax credit? But it's like filling Okanagan Lake with a teaspoon instead of a fire hose. And the fire hose is getting people automatically signed up once they've already jumped through significant hoops at the provincial, territorial and federal levels, including, as I understand it, people who already get CPPD, Canada Pension Plan Disability, are not automatically eligible for the Canada Disability Benefit. So you're receiving a federal disability benefit and you still do not become automatically eligible. So you can hear my passion for this. We are desperately letting down severely and very severely disabled people who live in poverty.